On today's episode. So I've been bought this little Nokia 520 that's taken a fall. There's a big crack across the screen there, you can see, and for that reason the Digitizer function no longer works, so we can't access the phone, but obviously the screen is working, so we just need to swap it out for this new guy. So firstly we'll switch it completely off, and now that that's done we can remove the battery. The battery connections on these are often a problem as well. This idea of just sliding in there, not too clever. If you have one of these and it keeps switching itself off, then take a look at those contacts. And the next thing to do is to take out all of the little screws, which are T5 size. And if you're wondering what happened there, was one of my dogs decided to take a fancy to it. So now, with all the screws removed and also removing the SIM card and any memory card if there is one, we need to remove this back cover which is clipped on. So with your favourite prying tool, just carefully get in to the case there. Maybe it needs something a little bit more rigid. Okay, I find it easier to start with the side opposite the buttons. There are often little cables and things on that side, so you want to steer clear of that if you can. Make sure you don't damage anything. Okay, so with the rear cover removed now, there are just two little ribbon cables to unclip. That's under here, and you can take the motherboard straight out. So in order to replace the Digitizer cable, we need to remove the headphone jack here. That again is simply a matter of prying it up. Now it is stuck down to the base plate here with a little bit of adhesive, so you can either heat that up, but often it will just peel off. There we go, that's fine. Now the next step is to remove what's known as the mid frame, so this frame that goes above the LCD. Now there are a few little clips, so the trick is to get a tool and just gently find the location of those clips and pry them out. So there we are. Now we're just left with the front screen to remove the old Digitizer from. So the Digitizer is held into this plastic frame by some adhesive. So I find the best way to remove that is with my trusty heat gun. So I'll get that fired up and we'll remove the screen. So now what we have to do is to remove all of this old adhesive from the screen, rather from the bezel. So this is a painstaking job, but has to be done. If you don't remove all of this gunk, then the new screen is not going to sit flat, and you'll have more problems. So just be patient, take your time, and you guys are lucky, you can come back when it's done. So just a little tip here, there's nothing that this stuff likes better than sticking to itself. So if you can get a sort of ball of it going like here, then just keep sort of rolling it, and it will help a little in the process. So having removed all of the bits of adhesive that I can see, I'm just going to give it a quick clean up. In the spray bottle here I just have some IPA, some isopropanol. I do possess other things such as acetone or toluene, but I feel that they may be a bit too aggressive. Last thing we need to do is to actually melt the plastic. There, so that's got the bulk of it off. Now perversely the next thing to do is to stick it back on again. Now depending on the screen that you buy, it may or may not have adhesive on it. Now I've just carefully peeled back a bit of this, and it does, so we are good. If not, we have to resort to sticking it down ourselves, but thankfully in this instance no. So now if we just carefully remove the protective film, now we need to pass the connector obviously up through the top there, and making sure that that's neatly into the corners. Just gently press it down until you're sure that it's all within the frame, and then we can just firm it down. The adhesive will do the job. Just try not to get any fingerprints on the inside there. Fantastic. So on to the next part of the reassembly. So now it's simply a matter of getting the LCD. Now there's a locating peg there, and we just gently find those places where we unclipped it in the beginning. So that's all good. And then not forgetting the headphone jack. So that clips in there, and sticks down there. And our main logic board. Just make sure that that is in place. There's a couple of little clips. And once that's in place, we can carefully place the Digitizer connector in place. It always gives a satisfying little click when it's in place properly. So make sure that that's all in place. Excellent. So with that all nicely in place, it's just simply a matter of replacing this back cover. I think that hooks over the USB port at the bottom. make sure that's all clipped down together before replacing the screws. So now with everything back in place, we've got the SIM card in and the battery. So let's see. So we can see that it's all working perfectly. Another nice simple fix.